Good afternoon. It's 4 p.m. We're bringing you the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon. I'm Regina Lay. The stories that we're watching this Friday, November 7th. Economic growth slowed to 4% in the third quarter of 2025. That's the weakest since the pandemic in 2021. The latest figure is well below the 5.5% growth in the second quarter and the 5.4% growth in the first quarter. The government's full-year GDP forecast this year is 5.5% to 6.5%, and this latest figure throws that into question. The sharp slowdown in growth comes amid a multi-billion peso corruption scandal in infrastructure projects, seen as what caused a letdown in investor and consumer confidence. Severe tropical storm Uwan further intensified outside the Philippine area of responsibility. It was last spotted about 1,300 kilometers east of eastern Visayas. Uwan is forecast to enter PAR this late evening or Saturday early morning and will be given the name Uwan. It may also reach super typhoon category tomorrow or Sunday morning before making landfall. The highest possible wind signal for the current forecast scenario is signal number 5. President Bongbong Marcos visited the Tiltilon Elementary School in Liloan, Cebu, where over 120 families remain sheltered after Typhoon Tino. He was joined by DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon and DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian. The president is expected to visit more typhoon-hit areas in the province today. The death toll from Typhoon Tino is now at 188, with 139 of those fatalities coming from Cebu. 135 people remain missing. And Coalition Artikulo 11, Article 11, rejected Independence Commission for Infrastructure Chair Andres Reyes' call for love. Instead, they demanded that government officials linked to the flood control scandal be held accountable. The coalition also announced plans to hold demonstrations leading up to the massive rally against corruption on November 30, Bonifacio Day. Joining us today, we don't have Ed Lingao today. We're also not sure if our political pundit Ronald Llamas will be able to join, but we do have from the Philippine Star, as always, Editor-in-Chief Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi, Reg. Hi, everybody. It's gonna be a rainy weekend.
It's gonna be a rainy weekend.
Happy weekend.
Tayo lang today, Ami. The boys have gone missing.
Oo nga, the plot thickens si Ronald.
You're talking about the Truth Commission. So,
Hindi ako makapag-happy weekend malakas daw ang ulan bukas.
Kaya nga.
May new categorization ng pag-asa ng rainfall. Rainfall warning. Torrential, yung pinakamalakas, and then intense, and then heavy. Tayo daw, Metro Manila, likely will be intense ang rainfall.
Yes, so intense
by Saturday evening or Sunday morning.
Intense rainfall would be about more than 200 millimeters of rain, sabi nila.
Yun yung 200 plus, yung torrential.
Correct. Intense rain
torrential.
daw. I'm seeing
intense
here
100 plus to
I'm seeing here intense rain is more than 200 millimeters of rain. Tapos the rest will have heavy to intense rain, then moderate to heavy. Basically, what we're expecting is widespread rainfall and potential flooding. Most likely flooding, I should say, and potential landslides. Just now, yung U.S. Embassy in the Philippines issued an alert to its citizens here, calling for preparations for Typhoon Uwan. Because Pag-asa is predicting that Uwan will make landfall as a level 5 typhoon category with winds exceeding 115 miles per hour. So malakas.
At saka all the way to north, north ang tama niya, pero tatamaan din yung mga, the area still reeling from Tino.
Kaya nga eh.
Tama sa Catanduanes, yung laging tinatamaan, but also Visayas, the Visayas area na pinuntahan nga ni Tino.
I don't know if this graphic that we're showing is not the most accurate picture, pero on Facebook there are some photos of that characterize itong typhoon Fungwong, and you can see it's almost the size of the Philippines. Halos kasi yung laki na ng Philippines,
Huge.
yung swath niya, right, yung lawak, because it's a super typhoon category, potential super typhoon category. And yun yung nakakatakot because
At malakas nga yung rainfall.
Oo.
Kasi normally yung signal na yan is wind signal yung signal number 5 It's wind. Pero yung rainfall ang kinatatakutan ngayon ng lahat dahil hindi pa nga nakikita. We have more than 100 people still missing. Diba? Tapos ayan na, heavy rainfall.
Here we're looking at the heavy rainfall outlook for Sunday. There was a time, Amy, for the other typhoons and storms na hindi masyadong kinatatakutan yung rainfall, but it's the wind that's scary because yung malakas-lakas yung wind. The problem with Uwan, with Fungwong, is it's both rainfall and strong winds. Right? Parang it's a double whammy. So rainfall is in some areas will be intense category, more than 200 millimeters. Tapos yung winds, including here, yung winds naman will is expected to, at its peak, exceed 115 miles per hour. 115 miles per hour, which is very, very strong.
Ang lakas-lakas nun.
So ito
Kaya
na yung
marami ng mga evacuation ngayon. And I guess at least dahil sa nangyari sa Tino, maraming mas madaling magpa-evacuate ngayon. Tatakot ang mga tao.
Yeah. Which is...
Kaya baka mabawasan yung Kasi ang dami-dami nagkakalat ngayon stories about Tino, di ba? Grabe daw. Grabe yung pagbagsak ng ulan sa Cebu, sa Cebu lang to. And bigla-biglang tumaas yung baha, kaya ang dami na trap.
Exactly. Yun nga yung reporters who are there right now covering the aftermath, usually ang mga sinasabi ng mga residents sa kanila is, first time it happened to us, we didn't expect it, kaya hindi kami lumikas because we thought it would be just another storm, right? Pero ito nga, it's not clear which video it is that we're showing. Hindi ko mabasa yung card.
Liloan, that's Liloan.
Liloan. Okay, this is Liloan, one of the hardest hit as of there's been dozens that were confirmed dead sa Liloan. And
siya yung pinakamataas death toll in Cebu. In Cebu lang.
Meron din sa
Kaya siya yung pinuntahan ni President Marcos.
Oo.
And it's the hometown of the husband of Cristina Frasco, no?
Actually, I think si Secretary Frasco is also from there. And finally, yung mag-asawa, si Congressman Duke Frasco and Secretary Cristina Frasco were seen on the ground. Remember earlier this week, there were rumors that they were in Europe and kinonfirm
They were in London.
Oo, kinonfirm na ni Secretary Frasco na nandun nga sila sa...
Yeah.
She said they went to London for a tourism
Travel
event.
Yeah.
For the...
Travel Mart.
What was that? World
Travel Mart. Pero sabi niya, umuwi daw siya the next day immediately. Pagtama ni Tino, umuwi daw kagad sila.
She
was there on Tuesday.
Tama. So that was Tuesday. Although, yes, World Travel Market. Correct. And sabi, umalis din daw the next day to proceed directly to Liloan. Yun nga, which is their hometown. But now, may ibang controversy naman, which is apparently there are some relief goods that bore the face and name of Congressman Duke Frasco. I don't know if you saw that.
Hindi ko pa nakikita, pero bawal yun.
Hindi mo pa nakita sa social media. May mga nagpo-post that with the canned goods, water, that had a sticker with his face and his name. So parang, bawal na ba yun? Pinagbawal na ba nila?
Baka naman personal niyang donation yan, hindi siya
Maybe.
Kasi sila may-ari nung di ba, yung Liluan Biscuit.
Sila ba yun?
Sila yun
Oh, I don't know.
That's a big food company.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but in any case, it's also a bit distasteful din, no? Kahit even if you use your own money. This is a disaster, a catastrophic disaster. Tapos, yun nga, you're gonna distribute goods with your... Makikita, it's not gonna be seen in the best light.
Yeah.
Diba?
Saka anyway, titingnan natin. Kasi sabi ni Vince Dizon, people daw will be held accountable for what happened dito sa Cebu. Kasi, of course, we know na may extreme weather due to climate change. Pero, tinitingnan din nila kung merong mga man-made acts of negligence or whatever na pwedeng sisihin dyan sa sobra, sa magnitude ng flooding. Di ba? So, sabi ni Vince Dizon, someone will be held accountable. So, titignan natin yung development na yan.
I think that's always the problem Who is going to be held accountable, right? So, nagkaaway, even this early, nakikita na natin that the officials from different sides of the political fence nag-aaway-away na. So, it started when incumbent Governor Pambari Cuatro said, may 26 billion pesos worth of flood control projects na nasayang. And then last night, on one of our shows, we interviewed former Governor Gwen Garcia, who, it was quite a long interview, but basically she said, hindi na-download sa local and sa provincial government yung that money went through DPWH and was not downloaded to them. So basically she's saying, in essence, that they have nothing to do with it. And in fact, ang point niya is, remember when she was suspended by the ombudsman, because of the desilting of what river was it? Pasensya na, I can't remember. Was it Masanga River? But she was saying na before kaya siya na disuspend was because of the order to desilt that river, and she was trying to make the point now that pag hindi siya na-suspend and natuloy itong desilting, sana it wouldn't have been as bad yung flooding. I don't know how true that is, but that's what she said.
Sinisisi pa rin, di ba, yung isa namang development sa mountainside.
Yes, yung terrazas.
Na in-interview nyo rin dyan, yes.
Yes, yung I think it's called officially Monterrazas de Cebu.
Monterraza.
Oo.
Sinisisi nila kasi nakalbo daw yung
It's a long
si
name.
Paulo Alcasarin yung in-interview ninyo, di ba? Na nakalbo yung mountain and walang mitigating structures para malabasan yung tubig dahil wala nang sumasalot, wala nang mga puno. Kaya ganon. Well, hindi lang si Paulo nagsasabi nun. In fact, I think it was just echoing what many of the residents are saying, na lumala nga daw nung nakalbo yung mga mountain slopes nila.
So, si former Governor Garcia was also asked about that, why it was approved, and she, in a nutshell, said, nasa Cebu City kasi yun, and it's a charter city which does not fall under her jurisdiction. So, provincial government siya, right? But it does, the question remains, why was it given all the permits? All from local city hall permits to ECC, environmental clearance certificate, and all of the other government permits, right?
Yeah.
Which means it was signed off.
Madadagdag yan sa assignment ni Vince Dizon.
Hindi pa nga tayo tapos sa Bulacan.
Hindi na naman yan makakapagsuklay.
Hindi pa nga tapos sa Bulacan.
Nakapagpagupit na wala na, hahaba na naman uli buhok niyan.
Oh my goodness. Cambio muna tayo, Amy. Let's talk about the other big news today. President Bongbong Marcos Jr. led the opening bell, or rang the opening bell for Maynilad's 34.3 billion peso listing, the first of its kind in the country. It's a green equity listing. Let's bring in mobile journalist Amy Atienza, who has the story.
3, It's official. The first listing of the green equity issuance in the Philippines has been opened, led no less by President Bongbong Marcos. Maynilad Water Services garnered 34.3 billion pesos, bringing the company into its full franchise requirements, supported by key investments of international and domestic investors, including International Finance Corporation and the Asian Development Bank. Maynilad opened itself to the public with a 15 pesos per share price, similar to its initial public offering. This means they are open to selling shares of the company, and securities are also made available for sale to the public. The price is 5 pesos lower than the initial 20 pesos per share price.
We believe that Maynilad is a solid investment, delivering essential water services and with a very predictable cash flows. And this, we got very positive feedback from both domestic and foreign investors, attesting to the company's operational performance, capex plans, and also dividend policy.
Maynilad is known to provide water and wastewater services to 95% of the West Zone, including the National Capital Region and Cavite. Hence, they look into improving its programs and development infrastructures.
I just want to make clear that our priority continues to be improving the services to our customers inside the concession. That's first. The low-hanging fruit for us is to offer wastewater and sanitation services to our existing commercial and industrial customers.
But this list is not just about franchise compliance, nor is it simply about capital raising. It is above all a commitment to continue delivering an essential service to our people with excellence and integrity.
Maynilad also clarified that they are not in discussions with Prime Water, but this is not yet off the table as it is value-adding to the company's goals and vision. Kapatid Amy Atienza, we are One News.
Well, at around the same time that they had the bell ringing for Maynilad, the Maynilad IPO, which is not only the largest this year, but the largest in many years, we also had the Q3 GDP results announcement. As I read earlier, Q3 GDP came in only at 4%, far missing economists' estimates. To talk more about that, let's bring in former NEDA chief, Solita Winnie Monsod. Welcome to Storycon again, Professor.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, Professor.
Professor, nakamute po kayo. Ayan na, okay na.
Hi, Professor. Can you hear me okay?
I don't know how to make it.
Ayan na.
Is it okay?
Mahina po.
Hindi ko alam kung paano.
Ayun na. Yes.
Maybe I should go closer to the...
Ayan, yan.
Perfect.
Ayan, okay.
Professor.
Okay.
Pero you can hear us naman, Professor Monsod.
Hello, Ami.
Ay, mahina po yung dating nyo.
Ay, nako. Sorry, anong hindi ko alam kung ano.
Ayan na, okay na, okay na. Oo.
Okay. Professor.
Okay na.
Okay, is it okay now?
Yes, better. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Professor.
Yes.
Okay. Let's go right into it. So, 4% Q3 GDP, malaking it's a shock to most everyone. On a scale of 1 to 10 po, how angry are you about this number?
Not angry. I mean, that was expected. I mean, considering what has all been going on with our government, how can you expect anything to happen, to be anything but what our government infrastructure expenditures went down by 26.8%. That's a hell of a big decline over last year. And ang maganda rito, hindi naman maganda, but what is noteworthy is that decline was close to what happened in 14 years ago. In 2011, during Noynoy Aquino's during Noynoy Aquino's term as president, beginning years, because they were trying to fix the public works. In other words, what is notable is after after that government fixed its public works problem with Babe Singson at the helm, the Aquino government went on to grow at a pace which has not been matched so far. So it was out of this corruption scandal, if it really takes root yung anti-corruption measures, we can expect the Philippines to rise above this tremendously. Okay? In other words, it's not all bad news. It will be bad news is after all these scandals, wala rin nangyari. Ayan ang talagang bad news. But itong corruption scandal na ito, good news because at last we have found out, at least the Filipino people have found out who are to blame. Now, whether that gets translated into justice for the Filipino people, I don't know. If it does, we can expect very good things to happen to the Philippine economy. If it does not, we are doomed to failure, to continuous failure.
Professor, so sa sinabi niyo naka-recover during Noynoy's time, no? But how long yung reasonable period nun? Kasi pinag-uusapan ngayon ng mga tao, hindi lang flood control actually yung scandal ngayon sa corruption It's another infrastructure at meron daw ngayon in some agencies, meron silang disbursement aversion. Kaya medyo babagal pa rin yung spending, no? Sa tingin nyo, yung reasonable time period bago ma-reverse tong slowdown na to?
Let me answer about Noynoy. In 2011, ayun nga ang problema, yung government spending. By 2015, 4 years later, was one of the top 10 investment destinations of international investors. By 2015, the Philippines corruption perception index had improved to a height that has never been achieved since then. By 2015, rule of law index had improved to an extent that was not seen afterwards. In other words, when Duterte came and when Marcos came, bumaba lahat yan. All right? In other words, kung successful, that's my evidence to you, that kung successful, but remember, and it was during Noynoy's time that yung hindi ba yung mga
walang kurap, walang mahirap.
Napoles, yung mga maraming na jail, hindi ba? Maraming kinasuhan. So that improved the international investor confidence in the Philippines so much so. Can you imagine the Philippines was one of the top 10 investment destinations of investors all over the world. So what do you make of that? I'm saying, this is all by way of saying, and I repeat, that if we handle this corruption scandal properly and really get people to jail instead of mga, what do you call that, for cosmetic purposes, then we will do very well. Pero, but hindi na ito nangyari. In other words, it's up to us. It's up to us to make sure that what is happening now continues to a good end.
Professor, break ko lang, no? It just came in. The Philippine peso closed at 59.04 to the dollar. Kaka-close lang ng market sa right now, 59.04. I don't think we've seen those levels. I could be wrong, pero I don't think we've seen those levels since the pandemic. It's double check ko later. But nevertheless, it's obviously a signal of lack of confidence in the markets in the Philippines. Pero tama po kayo. I think that is the million-dollar question. Are we moving in the right direction when it comes to the investigation? Ano pong, what's your sense when you watch the ICI carry out its job?
I don't agree with you that 59 peso is a signal that we're going in the wrong direction. Who gets hurt by a 59 to 1 peso a foreign exchange rate? The government, because it has dollar-denominated debt. Is it not?
Yes.
Do the workers in the Philippines get hurt? No. Will the people, will Philippine goods be more attractive to foreigners? Yes. So what are you talking about now? Just because it goes down, masama? There are many people who want their currency to drop so that their countries will be more attractive.
Well,
about what is your about the current investigation ICI? I know what they're going to do, but up to now I still haven't seen any transparency in their hearings. Meron na bang transparency sa hearings nila? In other words, the people should be kept abreast of what is going on so that they know how to react to it and how to themselves act. Because the people now have to be proactive. Sila ang naman eh. Sila ang dapat, sila ang dapat may information as to what is going on so that they will know how to coordinate their actions about rallies, whatever it is that's going on. We have to keep the public pressure on the government as heavy as possible so that the government will do what they have to do. Kung wala mga taong nagko-complain, making noise, walang mangyayari sa Pilipinas. In other words, it is up to us, the people, to carry this forward and to make sure that the government that we are forcing the government to act the way we want them to act. Di ba? Kailangan ang participation ng ng sambayanan.
Professor, by way of institutional reforms, kasi sabi ng mga tao, yung sistema nandiyan pa rin naman eh. And there's a lot of skepticism actually na may mapaparusahan ng mga big fish. What would you like by way of institutional reforms? Ano yung pwede yung mga doables na nakikita nyo na pwedeng gawin?
Institutional reforms natin, Ami, I'll say, sino ang who is ultimately responsible for what is happening? Is it not Congress and the legislature?
Yeah.
Ang may problema dito. All right. We want institutional reforms in Congress. We already have our case before the Supreme Court, asking for the Supreme Court to do the political dynasty thing. In other words, to political dynasty law. All right? That's number one. Number two, sino nga nag-elect ng mga taong yun lang sa Kongreso ngayon? Hindi ba ang sambayanan? In other words, we bear a lot of the responsibility here. It's not just government. If we want good people in Congress, we have to elect them. Hindi ba? Sino nag-elect sa kanila? Hindi ba ang tao? So, we have to make sure that ang mga tao realize that the people they elected to Congress were really bad eggs. Hindi ba? And if they don't realize that, then we are doomed to having that kind of quality of Congress in the future. So a lot depends on the Filipino people. and lot depends. I don't want to put, it's not that they bear most of the responsibility.
Yeah.
The judiciary has to do its stuff, the executive has to do its stuff. But now, Congress is it's at the center of attention. And who Congress there? Who? They were appointed.
Yeah. Professor, coming back to our discussion about the peso, my only point there being, it's been losing ground kasi the last several weeks because of weak investor confidence. And it's a trade-off, right? We also import a lot of things like oil, right? Fertilizer, raw materials. Anyways, I don't want to debate that point with you, but my question is, you're absolutely right. It's up to the people, but the election is still 3 years away. In the meantime, what can the people do? And also, do you think that the right people were put in place to clean up this mess? For example, yung sa ICI.
Well, I don't want to get into personalities. Let's talk about what people can do. Are projects in the barangays, the municipalities where the people are? I think the people can by themselves organize and look at these projects. Why do they have to wait for Vince Dizon to go to their municipalities to say, this is a ghost project? Let the people. We did that kind of thing where people were monitoring what the government was doing happened right after EDSA 1. After the EDSA revolution, people were organizing themselves as Bantay Bayan to make sure that the government projects were being constructed properly. The people had the right to check, and up to now they have the right to check. So you want the people to channel their activities to more productive more productive areas. I challenge the people in the barangay. Kung meron kayong project dyan sa barangay nyo na ginagawa, puntahin nyo, usisahin ninyo. Hindi ba? At kung meron yan. Di ba merong sumbungan ng bayan ng Malacanang? Ayan talaga, ayan ang gawin ninyo. Hindi ba? Because who can do better job than the people who are living there? Ayan, that's what the people can do. The people can also, of course, they can pray, they can rally, etc. But you do something concrete, then you have it. You don't have to go very far. Just see in your barangay, is there a project here that is being undertaken? If there is, we as a people have a right to the information on that project.
True.
We don't have to spend our time all the time in rallies. Let's do hard, nitty-gritty work. But to spend any money, it's there in our barangay, if there are any in that barangay. Or if you want to go further in your barangay, go to the municipality. That is
Professor?
Participation by the people. That shows that the people are really concerned and are bent on making sure that the people's money is not wasted.
Professor, what about the executive? Kasi si President Marcos got this investigation going, no? Do you think he can do more? Para mapabilis-bilis lang. I mean, siguro we're just too impatient, Pero you think the executive can do something else?
The executive should have put on the cabinet. And the executive should have, the executive should examine himself. Did I appoint the right people? Why did it take so long before Martin Bonoan got investigated? All this time, this thing was happening under him. Why did the president, for example, appoint Martin Bonoan? what exactly were his qualifications? He's a good man. Maybe he's a good man, but maybe he was promoted to to a job which was beyond his capacity. I don't know, but really and truly, that is what the president does. He appoints the officials who are doing who are executing the implementation of executing the plans or the projects being approved by the Congress. The Congress has the power of the purse, the executive implements.
Yeah.
Implementation is poor. So what does that mean? That the president has a responsibility also in this mess, and maybe he should consider being more selective or being more well with appointing the appropriate people, not just his friends, not just his relatives.
Yeah. All very great points. Especially, I like what you said, it is all up to us. Nasa sa atin po yun. But we'll leave the conversation there. Thank you so much for talking to us today. Former NEDA Chief Professor Winnie Monsod. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor.
You are watching Storycon on One News. We just need to take a very quick break. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.
Welcome back. We've got the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon. I'm Regina Lay, and still with me, Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star. In other news, we have Virgilio Cardinal David and families of alleged EJK victims pushing for the creation of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Telling us about that, we've got mobile journalist Arles de los Santos reporting live from Mandaluyong. Arles, what do you have?
Regina at Ami, ngayong araw nga ay nagkaroon ng press conference itong si Cardinal Pablo Virgilio David sa Mandaluyong City, kung saan kasama niya ang ilang mga kaanak ng umano'y madugong laban kontra droga ng nakaraang administrasyon ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Kaya ang kanyang panawagan sa liham na ipinasa kay Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ay ang pagbuo ng National Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Ito raw ay para muling silipin ang kinahinatnan ng mga umano'y naging biktima ng EJK at kung hanggang ngayon nga raw bakit wala pa ring hustisya na ibibigay sa mga ito. So Ami at Regina, ang parang gusto nilang mangyari magkaroon ulit ng bagong administrative order itong si Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr. kagaya ng ginawa nito para sa pagbuo ng Independent Commission for Infrastructure, kung saan magkakaroon ng pagkakataon na yung mga naging biktima, mga kapamilya ng mga nabiktima ng EJK na ikwento kung ano nga ba ang mga nangyari at kung magkakaroon nga ba ng hustisya itong nangyari sa kanilang mga kaanak, and ombudsman na daw ang bahala kung mayroon man na liability yung ilan sa mga opisyal ng pamahalaan, dahil kung magkaroon man daw ng commission, kasama sa mga pagpapaliwanagin ang ilan sa mga lokal na opisyal ng pamahalaan.
Arles, meron bang sinuggest sila na sinong gusto nilang mamuno dyan? Kasi laging controversial yan kung sino yung magiging in charge.
Ami, sa mga nakikita daw baka posible na maging in charge dito yung Commission on Human Rights. Pero maaari nga raw na kagaya ng ICI na merong tatlo na mga eksperto. So probably from the Human Rights Commission and then isang abogado and investigador na sisilip dito. Kasi kasama sa kanilang panawagan, Ami, yung pag-amin daw noong mga sangkot talaga dito sa mga pagpatay, yung ilan sa mga binayaran and kung sino man ang nag-utos sa kanila, and syempre yung pag-ako ng kanilang ginawa. Ito daw ay paraan para maghilom yung mga biktima at mga kaanak na ito, and kung maaari mabigyan daw ng reparation yung mga pamilya na ito, and kung maaari din yung psychosocial support, dahil kanina Ami nakita natin yung mga kaanak ng mga kapamilya, rather ng mga EJK victims na talagang umiiyak at tila sariwa pa din ang sugat ng nangyari noong nakaraang administrasyon.
Arles, this is a coalition then, no? Could you run us through quickly sino-sino yung mga lead conveners nito? Of course, we know Cardinal David, pero sino pa?
At least on the part muna, Reg, no, nito ni Cardinal David, no, binigyang linaw niya naman na hindi siya nagsasalita bilang bahagi ng CBCP,
Okay.
kundi bilang pinakamataas na pinuno ng Archdiocese ng Caloocan, kung saan isa raw ito sa mga naging hotspot ng EJK killings noon, no, na parang sunod-sunod daw ng mga bahay doon sa Caloocan ang mayroong nasawi na kanilang mga kapamilya. Pero bukod kay Cardinal David, and then yung ilang mga kaparian at kamadrihan, pati ilang mga civil groups, no, and organizations, andyan yung Akbayan, ilan sa mga nakita natin mula sa Tindig Pilipinas, and then yung iba pa na mga kasama natin, ano, na talagang kaparehas ang kanilang panawagan.
That's a good distinction to make, though. So he's not speaking for CBCP in this role. He's speaking as the head clergy of the Diocese of Caloocan.
Tama.
Okay.
So hindi ba wala ba nagtanong kundi kasi meron ng CHR, may ombudsman. We actually have a law for crimes against humanity na pwedeng i-pursue ng DOJ and ombudsman kung involved mga opisyal. May binanggit ba siya about that?
So at least, Ami, doon sa pagbuo daw ng komisyon, parang ICI yung mangyayari. Papatawag or investigation and then referral sa ombudsman kung sino man yung mga liable dito. Yung ilan daw ng mga local officials mula sa mayors hanggang doon sa mga barangay captains. So siguro, nananawagan, ayon sa kanila, nananawagan nga sila, no, netong independent commission na naman or a different body to investigate. Kasi daw, Ami, yung ilan sa mga biktima, pamilya ng biktima ng EJKs, hindi na daw umusada yung kaso. Kaya isa din sa mga kanilang kakalampagin daw yung National Police Commission para obligahin ito na ilabas ng PNP ang kanilang mga records, no, sa mga nangyaring operasyon nito, and yung iba actually outside police operations daw na mga nakamask, na mga nakabonet, yung mga alleged suspect na mga ito.
I find the timing of this a little bit off, no, Arles, kasi of course the government is all hands on deck when it comes to the flood control investigation. And I'm wondering, ano kaya yung trigger or inflection point for this Truth Commission? May kinalaman ba to, for instance, with the ICC case of former President Duterte? Ano yung long-term, ano yung short-term goal pala nito? Is it to contribute to that case, for the case build-up for that, or something else?
So far, Reg, wala naman silang nabanggit patungkol doon sa ICC, no? Itong si Father Cardinal David talagang binigyan diin yung paglalabas ng katotohanan sa mga nangyari noong EJK killings and yung reconciliation daw doon sa mga kaanak ng biktima ng EJK, no? Pero bukod pa dyan, parang hindi raw na papansin, no, ng publiko o ng ating pamahalaan na bukod sa mga korupsyon na nangyayari sa ating infrastructures ng pamahalaan, nandun din daw yung korupsyon sa pagpatay kung saan buhay ng mga tao ang kasama sa mga nalalagas at naaapektuhan, which is still part of corruption daw, nagagamit din daw ito ng ilang mga opisyal o mga may otoridad para actually yung mas tinamaan daw yung mga mas mahihirap nating kababayan. And hindi niya to tinatawag daw na bilang war against drugs, no, kundi parang laban kontra mahirap.
Pero dagdag ko lang dun sa tanong ni Reg kasi yung inaakusahan ng karamihan ng mastermind niya na nandun na sa ICC, di ba? Ano yung niya? Ano yung objective niya ngayon? Saka nagkaroon na ng investigation ng House, ng Senate, di ba? Marami na tayong detalyado actually mga pati even the names of people involved na matataas, mababa, hindi ba? Ano pa yung gusto nilang madagdag dyan?
Actually, Ami, kasama sa nabanggit ni Cardinal David, no, na nagkaroon man daw ng mga pagdinig ang Quad Committee ng Kamara, tila wala naman daw nangyari o naging resulta ito dahil ang lahat ng mga naging pagsisiwalat dito ay in aid of legislation lamang. Wala pa rin naparusahan o nasampahan daw ng mga kaso, and yung mga na-file naman ng mga kaso nitong mga individuals, no, ng mga kapamilya, wala rin naman daw nangyari sa ilan sa mga ito. May mga balita pa nga daw na nasunog yung isang opisina doon sa Caloocan ng mga pulis, no, na kung saan kasama doon sa mga nasunog, no, yung mga papeles daw ng mga investigasyon dito sa war on drugs. So yung mga ganong anggulo yung kanilang tinitignan.
So mukhang they want this Truth Commission to also be prosecutorial, hindi lang and not just a ministerial commission, which is a bit of it's a big ask kasi
Mahirap-hirap yun.
oo, katulad ng ICI, di ba? That's what we are arguing
ICI nga,
about.
wala pa eh.
ICI,
Correct.
walang subpoena power, walang contempt power. It doesn't have prosecutorial
Yes.
power. So how are you going to hold people to account, right? So it's interesting. But we'll let you go. Thank you so much for all of the details and your reporting. Arles de los Santos, mobile journalist, live from Mandaluyong.
Thank you, Arles.
I was just going to comment, Ami, I wasn't here then. I wasn't in the country then. Pero di ba si former President Noynoy Aquino also set up a truth commission?
Yeah, it was overturned. Hindi siya natuloy.
Yun na nga, hindi na. Pero it was.
Hindi siya natuloy. Supreme Court siya na. That was a Supreme Court ruling. Kaya actually, meron na nag-comment dyan sa proposal na yan ng mga obispo na baka mapareho yan dun sa Truth Commission nung panahon nga ni President Noynoy.
Bakit siya na-overturn? Because it was created through EO lang.
Hindi ko na matandaan yung detalye ng case eh. But it was overturned. Hindi siya natuloy. And it's difficult you consider what happened. Halimbawa, sa South Africa na actually meron namang mga naparusahan din pero napakahirap nung Although siguro dahil nga sa extent ng problema, siguro iniisip din ng mga at least we're trying to do something about it.
Yeah. Sabi nga ni Professor Winnie Monsod, it is up to us to continue to put public pressure on the government to do something. Pero
just to speed things up, 'di ba? Kasi wala nangyari dun sa tinubukan ni 'di ba, yung dating Justice Secretary. Sabi niya walang gusto daw mag-testify, walang gusto mag-complain.
Pero good point yun na ano na nangyari dun sa all the findings from the congressional hearings, no? I don't know if naglabas na ba sila ng committee report? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Saka parang hindi ko rin.
Kasi nangyari nga yung inaresto si President Duterte.
Yes.
Tapos ayun, nagpunta na yata si Ruina Garma somewhere preparing to testify. Tapos we're waiting for at least 2 more arrest warrants. Yun ang hinintay ng mga tao ngayon.
Yeah.
Kaya medyo nag-slow down at natabunan nga na itong flood control.
Ay nako, every day brings a new thing, lahat na lang na stories na hinapon natin at tabunan. But that is all the time that we have for today. So I'm gonna end this show. But just very quickly, yung DOST Pag-asa on Facebook has just issued its latest advisory for Tropical Cyclone Uwan. This is Uwan, of course. Please do go and check their Facebook pages. Merong heavy rainfall outlook na for the specific provinces and regions. So tomorrow afternoon is yung expected start of the heavy rainfall. But do check DOST Pag-asa to be updated. And mag-ingat po tayong lahat. Thank you for joining Storycon today. Ami Pamituan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Join us again Monday, 4 p.m. for Storycon. I'm Regina Lay, kapatid. We are One News, all sides, all the time. And please stay safe this weekend.
This is the Story Conference Group or the Storycon Group.